Good morning, everyone. Hazel here from South Africa. I hope everyone's well and all the preparations for the holiday season are coming along nicely. So today we are looking at Dephemerember, prompt number 12, bookmark and clear packaging. The clear packaging has me beat, so I'm going to leave that for now and focus on the bookmark. So here we go. Put this back where it hangs up, and I'm using the piece of belly band that I had earmarked for earlier on in the thingy snippets. I had it for that, well, earmarked for that, but I've decided that seeing just how it's a rather pretty piece, I'm going to turn this into the bookmark. It just needs a little trim on both edges. Oh, this is not looking very clean. Okay, now what also needs to happen is I have a card file folder here that I'm going to use for the undercarriage. So I might as well take advantage of this fold and use that. But I also need to mark where I'm going to have to cut. Actually, I'm going to give it a little bit of extra space and just go for it because it makes it a lot easier to work with. Here we go. Now I can glue this down, let it dry, and then trim it to match. Alrighty, with my trusty glue page. So, smart thing to do would be to There we go. Now let's just leave that to dry a bit because that is needed. And what I can tell you is that this is actually going to be a bookmark that is a hidden paperclip because it works extremely well as a bookmark. I have tried it myself, and I've got one of these giant paper clips, so that's what I'm going to use. And what actually happens, I could have used the could have put this clip in between the card and this snippet roll, but I do find it works better if you've got a double layer of cardboard, because a bookmark needs to be fairly strong. Just need to fold in the opposite direction now. Where are you, my little mark? I am having an awful problem these days seeing pencil marks on brown paper. There we go. So that is now going to be put down. I'm going to just roughly cut it here. And that means I can cut this one as well. Right, now what needs to happen is that we put the paper clip in, and the way we do it is like this. We put the short, I like to put the short side at the back, which is the short side of the card, and you leave just a tiny little gap at the top here, because that is going to come through and stick out the other side. So now what we do is we find the middle. This is about 7.5 centimeters, which would make it 3.25. Actually, what we need to do is measure that edge, 3.25 centimeters, and move it over a little bit more. 3 and 3. It's really close, so that is fine. I am going to mark with my mystery disappearing pencil. Here we go. Let's put a line there and a line there, which tells me where this is going to be. And equally, we need to make a mark here, because we're going to put a tiny little slit in there to allow this paper clip to stick through. Right. Righty, now this I saw on a tutorial I watched, and it really helps to keep everything in place. What the lady did was she glued the paper clip down, starting in the middle to flatten it, and then doing the edges like this. To hold it firmly in place. And that way you can go ahead and apply everything else without the danger of the paper clip slipping. And I've just realized I haven't let enough of it through, because there we go, it has to come through 2 thicknesses of material. So let's put it back. Thank goodness that masking tape grips so well. There we go. And having the card as a cover instead of paper means that you don't get such a noticeable outline from the paper clip. Now, it's not necessary, but I'm actually going to put a piece over the top in the front here without flattening it down, so that there's something blurring the outline of the paper clip on the front of the bookmark. There we are. You see, I'm just going to do that. That's just to cover it up a little bit. Okay, so now we need to make a little slit there where I've marked it. Let's take this out. Now, what I'm going to do, because this is quite a big paper clip, I'm actually going to cut a little tiny piece out so that it works better. Let's see, have I gone all the way through? I think not. Let me be a little firmer. There we go, that should be better. And there we have that little gap. I did notice that something had lifted here, so let me just quickly glue that on. because we really don't want this sort of thing happening. It lifts it off quite a bit. So has this one. Okay, it's the folding that's done the damage. So let's just go and a drop there. And we're done. Tiny little scrap of paper that's found its way. Now, I'm almost tempted to leave a bit of an edge, but I think not, because that's not going to look so good. Right, so now we need to make sure this goes through enough. Yes, it does. That's giving us a nice loop here to add a little dangle to decorate this. Now why? Oh, of course. I'm wanting to know why the underneath part won't fold open so easily. It's because it's being held down by a paper clip, silly. Okay, now the easiest way of doing this is to start with the larger section. That has gone awfully crooked. Oh dear. Let's make an adjustment. Better. There we go. That sorted that out. Let's die. So-called bone folder. This works so well. It's actually a little tool for spreading the dye for silk screening. But I saw it in the shop and I just thought to myself, you know, this is perfect for me because of the old arthritis. But fortunately, the arthritis is pretty much not an issue, really. Okay, so we will now put the glue on this side. Okay. See, it's coming along, but I am definitely going to trim the edges. Clever, and thread this onto the cutting mat, because otherwise I'm likely to cause chaos, am I not? That's it. It's amazing what to do when you have to think out of the box. Can anybody see what I'm doing? Yes, they can. So I will cut right up to there, and just do the last little bit of the fold with a pair of scissors. This is actually working rather well. Thank goodness for the heavy duty paper clip. Okay, that one twisted, but I think that's just because everything is still a bit damp. Okay, that took a while, folks, but we did it. Some embellishments to trim it all up and make it look pretty. I have some of this green ribbon and a few beads, but the beads have tiny little openings, and I may just have to drop 2 of them because they're not going to fit. However, what's on there should look rather lovely, and I think it is quite possible, yes it is perfectly possible, to put these there we go. Then we will put, no, we'll have to work backwards because we want this to go on first. Aha! I did it! Sometimes I'm so smart. Now, did I want this one to be behind or in front of? Yes, I think it must be behind, because then we can pull it through here. But I think I can possibly tie this down with another little ring, a little clamp. So that is what I will have a look at. And then we can finalize it all. I think that's going to be rather sweet. I'm going to do that and be back shortly. And I think this needs to be clamped in place just to stop it from going crooked again. Everything's nice and dry now, so I've taken the clips off. And there's just a few finishing touches to put here, and then we're done. It just makes it a little prettier. So shall we do, let's do a 7. The 7 is nicely in the middle. Perfect. That does look much better. Oh, we have a piece that's protruding. Just a tiny little spot that, you know, the trouble with using a glue stick too often, I think I find, is that when you're doing something else, like for example using the wet glue to glue all these pieces together, it dampens, and I think it affects the adhesion of the glue stick. I think. There we go. Yeah, that looks much better. I'm liking that. Nice at the bottom. Oh goodness, I think it's fallen on the floor. I had a tiny little circle to pop up on there. You know, things keep getting brushed off by my sleeves. Wish the weather would warm up and we could have a proper summer. It would be so nice. Do we have it? Found the little treasure. Right, the finishing touches. Let's start off. I've just got a couple of other bits to add. Some decoupage fodder there. There we go. Okay, let's start with this little one because that's the one that keeps falling on the floor. Let's just put it down. I just found this black circle to be a little bit kind of in your face. So I thought, well, if we do this, and I'll just, as soon as the paint is dry, I will clip that off. It just makes it look as though it has a purpose. Okay, let's do this now. You know, when I first saw these little collage bits cut out on the video I was watching, I thought, oh my word, it's going to take forever to glue down, and it's going to take forever to cut out. But I tell you what, it doesn't. And I think it makes such a difference to just have this little extra thing. There we go. See, that looks super. And then the final touch is this gorgeous red butterfly. And I think it should be going in the same direction as these kind of diagonal lines. So I've decided I will put her here. Hang on a minute, where did I think? There we go. Just to allow the little leafy to go through. Sorry, I keep forgetting to talk. It's because I'm so focused on what I'm doing and kind of giving myself little mental reminders of bits that still need to be added. So that is going to go there. That's gorgeous, isn't it? And then I have some words. I've chosen 3 that kind of go with people reading. The first one says imagine, and that will go there, like that. The next one says inspire, which will go here. Let me just make sure I'm lining them up the way they should be. Imagine, inspire, and then be limitless. I think that's quite a nice group of comments to go on a bookmark, because when people are reading, they imagine, we hope they become inspired, and they do need to know that they can be limitless. There we go. I think that looks rather nice. It's coming along. And now the final touch, which is going to be the dangly bits. So this is the charms that I've added, is that little leaf, this green disc, and a dark red bead. And I managed to just bind this with cotton, this piece here. I don't know if it's noticeable. There we go. I bound it with cotton and then just added a dab of super glue to hold everything in place. So there we go. Okay, so now in measuring this, I've decided we need a piece that will hang down. So it will hang down inside the book, you know, from inside the book. So we will thread this through here. That is going to be trimmed off a bit more. And then I thought, well, let's just end it off with this. And we can have it kind of there. And this one will be kind of here. And this long stringy bit can hang about here. So I think that will look rather good. So let us carry on. Hang on. We need to just be a little bit more focused. That can go there. I'm sure that's long enough for most books. This can come through here. So that will go through here. Okay, so let's start with the heaviest one. We'll push that through here. Doing this nice big loop at the top here makes it quite easy to add a whole bunch of stuff successfully. Okay, so if that was doing this, this one is doing that. That means this has to be. Oh, come along, come along. Thank goodness for fast forwarding. Here we go. So that will go through there. Let's do this as carefully as possible. Go. No, that is not too long. better. That one comes here. There we go. I think I'm not showing this to you, am I? I'm just busy wafting around, forgetting to speak. There we go. Alright, so this one, I've done it the wrong way around. That's better. I think that is rather nice. And let's do a little demo. Zentangle journal will do. I think that's quite fun. Just the last little bit of tidying up to do. Because this one needs to be cut a bit shorter. This one here, that one is fine. So let's just bring them all down again so I can make an executive decision. I think this one should be cut off here. So what I'm going to do, just to make it look a bit more interesting, is I'm going to tie a knot. There we go. And then I'm going to see if I can get it to fray. I'm not very sure if it will or not, but it's worth a try, isn't it? But there we have it, folks. That is our bookmark. Oh, not quite trimmed. One moment, please. There we go. Edge trimmed. I think that is rather beautiful. I've just got a, I think I must put a dab of glue under these. They don't seem to be holding quite as well as they should. But there we go. Rather lovely. I'm very happy with it. And so if you like it, please press the like button. If you haven't subscribed yet, I would love you to subscribe. And of course, remember the comments, because the comments are what guide us YouTubers to know what you would like to see. Let me hide this nasty little nail. So until next time, which will probably be after the weekend now, stay well, stay safe, stay warm, and bye bye.